G'day legends, it's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here. Before we get stuck into another great interview brought to you by Crannk.com and thatmetalstation.com, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and that way you can keep up to date with all the best music and interviews from all over the world. There we go. Hey, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy with Crannk.com and with thatmetalstation.com. No matter where you are in the world, it's with great pleasure that I'm having a chat with Paul Mazurkiewicz. Sorry, dude, if I annihilated your last name there. Of Cannibal Corpse, man. Legendary Cannibal Corpse drummer. Few have made an impact like Paul has with the drumming scene, that's for sure, and with Cannibal Corpse. But today we're here to talk about Umbilicus, man. Absolutely great project. Thank you very much for joining me.
Oh, man, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Nah, dude. I know you've been fairly busy with Cannibal Corpse. I'll quickly touch on that, man. How was the tour, the recent tour, man? I know you were over in Europe and you're about to go off in Europe and you got a North American tour and you're flat out at the moment touring. So how's that all going?
It's been good. You know, we've had a few tours, started back in February in the States for the first tour back after the pandemic. And, we did South America in May. And then we just got back from a two-week run in Europe, some festivals, a couple headliners. And, so it's been going well. It's going well. We're doing a show on Thursday, actually, here in the States, a festival. And then we start that U.S. tour with Dark Funeral in November in the States and Canada. So it's been good, positive, been great shows. Fans are coming out and, it's good to be back.
Yeah, well, with that Violence Unimagined album, man, that was an absolute ripper, man. You just came back with an absolute fucking vengeance, you know what I mean? And kind of hit a whole lot of new ears as well with that album. For me, that one was one of my favorite death metal albums of 2021. Absolute ripper, man.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. We did our best, of course. We always try to do our best. And, I'm glad that you feel that way. And, it seemed to do well with the fans and our biggest charting album in the first week to date and all that kind of stuff. So it was just a big positive, vibes all around for that. So it's great to hear, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and it must be great to get to these shows and not only see these fans that you've had for 30 plus years, but also the new younger generation coming through and kind of following Cannibal Corpse as well.
Oh yeah, man, you need that. I mean, I think that's been due a part to our our longevity is having the new fans. You can't just rely on everybody that's been around for 30 plus years. I mean, a lot of them are gone in a sense, which kind of stinks, but a lot of them are still around. But it's the new blood that really keep you going. So I mean, you see that more and more. Every tour we do, every new album we put out, there's of course a new crop of youngsters getting into the music, and they're coming to the shows and they're becoming death metal freaks. So that's the way it's been going. So
yeah, definitely. No. You're fine. We can talk about Cannibal Corpse all night, but we are here to talk about Umbilicus, man. I've been rocking out to Umbilicus for a little while. I kind of knew this was coming along. I've interviewed Taylor a couple of times, and kind of when I seen this kind of happening, I was really, really excited. This, of course, is the brainchild of you and Vernon. Tell me a little bit about how this all began, Umbilicus.
Awesome, man. Yeah, no, it's a fun project. I'm so happy to be a part of this, and so much fun. First off, it's really been embedded in me for years. This kind of music, probably my whole life. Growing up when I did and all that, and just a big fan of the '70s style rock and roll and '80s style rock and '60s as well. What ended up starting, how this ended up starting was. You got to go back actually about 20 years to around 2000, 2001, where when Jack Owen was still in Cannibal Corpse, actually, and he had the same love as myself for this kind of music. And at that point, we wanted to do, just kind of break up the monotony. We decided to do a little project, and we called it Path of Man. And along with Vernon Blake, the bass player who's in Umbilicus right now, we ended up writing some songs, just seeing what could happen here. And we ended up playing 2 shows in Tampa, Florida. And but we never did anything with the material. I mean, we had, maybe we wrote about 15 songs, and we had fun doing it, and it just never materialized. We never had the proper singer, so we never took it serious enough to kind of like, to move forward. It all fell apart. We never made proper recordings. We got some good demos, from some of those songs, which is good to still have, of course. And the fact that we did play 2 shows, that was neat, but then it, kind of fell apart around, I don't know, 2001, 2002, somewhere around there. And, you got to fast forward now, right? 20 years later, it was kind of the way it came about again was after Cannibal recorded Violence Unimagined, right? Exactly. The pandemic was just hitting at that point. When we went into the studio, it was April of 20 there. And it obviously hit in March of 20. So we were all ready to go. And luckily it all worked out in the recording sense for Cannibal. But when I was done with my drum tracks per se, we were already kind of wondering what's going to happen in the immediate future, right? Are we going to be able to be touring soon? Are we going to be able to, when's the album going to come out? All those questions were there, right? So I just thought, now's the time to revisit anything here like that. And that's what I did. I got a hold of Vern. His buddy lives in Tampa here in Florida. And we started actually playing some of the old songs that we wrote with Jack. It was just him and I. And we were just fiddling around with those. And we thought, it'd be cool if Jack would get involved again. We'd love that, to kind of revisit the whole project. But Jack's since moved to Illinois, and he's been up there for a few years, and a little far away from Florida, of course. So he just didn't seem to have any interest at that point, at this point anymore, to do something like this with us. So it was kind of like that. That's fine. So we figured, if we're going to move forward with this, we need a new guitar player then, right? And that's where Taylor comes into play. We knew Taylor from some mutual friends. I never met him at that point when he first came into the fold. I've heard of him. I knew Rob actually played some like a cover band with Taylor on bass, and Vern met him before. But we brought Taylor in. We said, hey man, we got this project. That we basically what I just told you with Jack, and we wrote these songs, and hey, here's some of the songs. If you want to learn a couple, we can maybe get together and jam just to see what the vibe is. So Taylor ended up learning like one of the songs that we had from the old school days there. And man, it clicked immediately. It was just, he came into the room, and he, he was just a cool guy, obviously, meeting him, and then just a great guitar player. And we just jammed, a couple of I think it was at least one of the old songs we ended up jamming, and it just felt great, and he was totally into it. And, I remember at the end of the practice, at the end of the jam session, he was I'm in, man. I'm totally in.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So to continue what I was talking about is Taylor, at the end of the practice, he was like, man, I'm in. This is fun. Let's do this, So we decided right then and there, all right, let's move forward. And I know my mindset was, and Vern as well, because Vern, of course, was in the previous band. It was like now or never. We only live once. Now's the time to actually maybe, take this a little further than the original project. And let's do what we did, what we're about to do. Right. Let's write some songs, let's take it a little more seriously. Let's record, let's release something to the masses here, because, this could be our only chance, our last shot at it. And you know what, whatever, if things work out, cool. If not, we're having fun. And,
Yep.
We left our mark in a way, so that's basically how it started, and how it got back into it. And then Taylor ended up writing some songs. We didn't use any of the older material that Jack wrote. We just started fresh. And what you're going to hear and what you've already heard from the 3 songs that are available already are basically Taylor's doings. Those are he pretty much wrote all the songs, and of course we came together as a band to mold them together, but but Taylor's such a great great guitar player, great
He's
great
unreal,
creative
isn't he?
force. He is, man.
He's in about
amazing.
20 million bands. Him and Jeremy have so
Exactly.
many bands on the
Oh,
go,
I know.
dude. You sit down and they all kind of lead off of one another, but it's
Right.
he's just such a cool dude. I've met him a couple of times, interviewed him through this medium as
Right.
well. Him and Jeremy, just really, really
Nice.
cool guys. And when I seen Taylor come on board, I'm like, this is really going to get going, because the guy can just create musically. He seems to be
right.
always doing
Right.
something, and whenever they're doing something, it's like 110%. When he commits to something, it's like, I'm doing this. You know what I mean?
No, you're totally right. You've talked to him enough and know him enough, and that's how he is. Exactly. I mean, just look at everything he does. It's just like he wrote those Umbilicus songs fairly quick for the most part, just like he does everything else in all the other bands he's in. He's just such a creative force in so many ways. The fact that him and Jeremy, how they got their little studio, and of course, if you know much, the background of the Umbilicus, Taylor pretty much engineered it and produced it and mastered it, and he drew the album cover, and I mean he came up with the packaging, because he can do it all. So it's been amazing having him. Really, no, it was you couldn't ask for a better of a guitar player to have in for this project, when Vern and I were looking for that guy. So Taylor comes into play, and we start writing those songs, but we didn't know what to do with a singer. We of course we had some people. We didn't really do a lot of auditioning or really searching too much. We just really were concentrating on writing the songs first, and then once the songs were done, we figured, well, we got to do something. Obviously, we need a good singer, a great singer, and Taylor was actually going to sing there for a bit. In the beginning, the thought was, what, he can sing. He's never sang per se in a band or anything like that, especially this kind of music. Which we are, of course, wanting to have a proper vocalist. So he ended up giving a shot, and he was doing great. He was doing great, but I think we all felt that maybe we just need, I don't know. In my opinion, it was let him concentrate on just playing the guitar. He's a good vocalist. Is he a great vocalist? Probably not. Could he be? Maybe. Who knows? He's great at everything else, right? But man, I'll tell you, since he knew of Brian Stephenson, of course, being in one of their bands, the band FORE, and I know Taylor said, "Hey, man, I got this. There's a guy in Canada that's just like the Glenn Hughes of Canada, basically." And hey, what if I send him a couple of the songs and we'll see what he does? And I'll tell you, man, when Taylor did that, and that first rendition of "Hello Future," the first single that we released, that was the first song we heard of Brian singing, and Taylor's like, "Oh yeah, Brian just slapped this together, this is what came to his head, and we were just blown away." I mean, it was just like, holy man, this is the guy. I mean, he made the songs that much better. What a good vocalist, a great vocalist should do. And we said, all right, he's in Canada. We kind of were maybe hopefully trying to find somebody local that we can, of course, play with more often or what have you. But man, just the fact that Brian just blew us away, and such a great vocalist and such a great dude, it was, let's just do this. Let's do it for the better.
He's got some amazing range. I hadn't heard of him till I had a chat with Taylor and Jeremy when they were doing the FORE project, and then I was able to dive back into his stuff with old James and that, just the range he has to go from that to go to punk to come to this and that Hello Future, as you mentioned, that's a perfect track for the first, as that drum beat kind of leads into the start of that. You're like, if you aren't rocking out to this from that first track, you ain't rocking out at all to it.
Yeah, I hear you. You're right. No, you're right. And that was a great first track for him to sing, and a great first track for us to release, I think, is the single. But you said it, Brian. He's just another great creative force, a great vocalist. I mean, a great musician. He's a great guitar player. I mean, all that. You've seen him in old James. I know when I went back, and when Taylor told us who he was, all right, well, we can go and check out old James, and you're watching these videos, and you're just going, my God, this guy's amazing, man. What a great front man, and a great talent, and so we're just so fortunate to get him in the band, and that he wanted to be a part of this. So that's what brought us to where we are now. We wrote the songs, we got Brian to sing them, fine-tuned them that way, and and we're on the cusp of releasing this album here in a couple of weeks. So very, very exciting, this whole thing, the way it all panned out and the way it's going.
Yeah, well, it come out September 30th through Listenable Insanity Records. I know he's got it up on Bandcamp. I'll also put in all the links below so everyone can chase that down. And the few singles are absolutely unreal. Gates of Neptune was the latest single, and it was really cool to see the film clips you guys done, especially for INHUMAN and the latest one, Gates of Neptune. Tell us about those film clips. What was it like getting you guys together and doing those clips?
Yeah, well, this is the kind of the weird thing about this whole thing with talking about Brian. We haven't been in the same room yet.
Oh, wow. How'd they get this done?
Well, the fact that I know, right? The fact that he's up in Canada, of course, and with all the restrictions still, Canada is like one of the worst for restrictions and for travel and all that kind of thing during the pandemic, Yeah. So Brian just couldn't make his way down to Tampa or Florida or get into the country for that matter, into the United States. So, if we wanted to get this thing rolling sooner than later and not wait any longer than we've already waited, because this is almost going to be 2 years in the making, right? So, he did all his recording up in Canada, and that worked. I mean, he was able to obviously practice and know where the vocals could go, since we haven't played live yet or weren't planning on it yet. So he did everything up there on his own, just singing over the music, being able to, come up with the patterns and all that. And that worked out. Like I said, Taylor then, of course, mixed the whole thing here in Florida. But, when it came down to video time, I mean, we really, of course, wanted to get him to come down. Yeah. I mean, that was but we were like, man, if it ain't going to work, it ain't going to work. So, of course, when you release Hello Future as the visualizer, there you go. Yeah. But then we were like, well, we need a proper video here. So yeah, when we did INHUMAN, we actually did that in the Cannibal Corpse practice facility in our practice room. Okay. and we green screened the whole thing. We ended up putting the green screen to make it that psychedelic vibe, that old school 70s kind of thing. But Brian filmed his pieces up in Canada the same way he recorded, in front of a green screen, and then Jeremy Kling ended up editing that all together here. So remarkably enough, it looks like Brian's actually there jamming with us. I mean, it was like, wow, when we saw the final version, you're like, my God, it looks like Brian's right there. Well, I mean, this is perfect. So that came about. We had a lot of fun, of course, Vern and Taylor and myself, and Jeremy and Deidre, his wife, handle the footage, and the filming was a fun time. We had a great time, and I think the video turned out great. I mean, really, it turned out amazing, way better than we thought it would ever turn out. So that brings us to Gates of Neptune then, where we were like, well, what do we do now? I knew time was starting to be of the essence here, since DEICIDE was going on the road, and of course now that Taylor's in DEICIDE after the fact that he started joined Umbilicus. So, and then Cannibal was doing some things, so we were kind of running out of time here to go and like, hey, what are we going to do? I felt we need to do another video after we release a video. I mean, I don't know. I didn't want to go back to doing a visualizer or maybe a lyric video. It's kind of like, well, we need some sort of a video, I think. So we just came up with the idea of going, you know what? Let's just, let's make this a little different, maybe avant-garde-ish. Let's really focus on Brian because of the vocal. I mean, that song is just an incredible song. I think it's one of our favorites, and he did such a great job with the vocals. I mean, he did a great job of all of them, but we were like, well, let's just focus on Brian more on this one, and that's what we did. So Brian ended up filming all of that up in Canada with him and his girlfriend, and that was just the footage that they put together for the song. And we felt, why not? It would have been nice, of course, to have us in it a little bit, but at the same time, I mean, there wasn't much else we felt we could do at this point, if we wanted to get it out in time. So that was, I think it turned out good. I think it turned out great. The song is a great song. People are talking about that one being one of their favorites out of the three so far. So that's been awesome, man. So it was cool to do. Now next step is getting the guy down here so we can do play some shows. And,
play some shows. So that's definitely the plan, to kind of get some shows together and.
Yeah, I mean, we have to. I mean, we
Yeah.
want to do that. I mean, it's obviously nothing is set anywhere in stone or even moving forward. I think the whole mentality is get the album out first,
Yep.
see what buzz we're really going to generate here, I mean, hopefully it's good. Hopefully, whatever it is, I guess, no matter what it is, I would think our plan is to at least get Brian down eventually, whether we just at least set up some mini thing in Florida or a southeast thing in the States, but right, the album comes out, you never know what it could generate, right?
It's
So who
such a
knows?
good album, Paul. Like, for me, like, I love rock, man. I love heavy metal. Like, I can sit there, as I'm saying, I'm a huge Cannibal Corpse fan. I can play the most brutal death metal, black,
Right.
and then jump into some rock like this, and it's for me, it was like a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? Last couple of weeks, I've been lots of death, lots of brutal stuff, and then jumping into this album, was really, really a lot of fun. I dare say it kind of felt that way for me. It must have been for you a lot of fun to make this album, also a cathartic process to kind of do something different as well, not just play the straight up death metal beats all the time as well. Just have some fun with some good old rock and roll, because I know most of us metalheads, we love it.
Sure, I appreciate it. I mean, I'm glad you like it. No, I mean, and that's what the consensus is so far from the people that have heard it. They're just like, wow, they I don't know what they were going to expect, but when they do, when the people that I talked to that heard it, or at least hear the song so far, they're like, wow, this is some good stuff. Breath of fresh air, like you said. And because I don't think we're doing anything, that's out there now. Everything's so modernized, and I mean, of course, it's got a modern touch to it, but it does really have an old school kind of feel, and that's what we were really going for. So man, like, it's been so much fun. Really, it has been. It's been amazing to be able to just sit back and groove out and play something different. And like I was telling you in the beginning of the interview, that it's really it's embedded in me. I mean, I love rock and roll. That's kind of all I've been listening to probably for the last like 20 years, is just reverting back to like the 70s and the 80s, and the bands that are just pure rock and roll to me, and that are rock and roll. And I just love it. And to be a part of it, because, it's so special. I mean, it's been amazing. Yes. It's been a great change of pace. So much fun, jamming with great guys and all that. And, I think we wrote some really cool songs, man. Yeah. I'm very proud of these songs. I hear these, like whenever I play it, I'm just like, my God, this is some good stuff. Why can't this make some waves? I mean, what the heck? So we'll see what happens. But either way, like I was saying before, it's just fun to do it. We're having fun, and that's the most important thing. And if good things come from it, great. If not, hey, we had a fun time doing this. We'll keep going. Why not? We'll see what happens. Get the cat out of the way.
No, the cat's fine. Let's come in and say hello to this crazy Aussie as well. So you guys doing vinyls and merch and pre-orders and stuff like that? Best place probably what you got, Bandcamp, and I think other sites as well, which I'll make sure I put all them in as well.
Yeah, I think the best one right now would be the Umbilicus band at bandcamp.com. That's where you can do the pre-ordering and all that stuff, with some bundles happening in the shirts. That's right now, I think that's the only spot. I believe it's going to be available in some other mediums after that, but I'm not quite sure. It's probably a little bit more of a question for Taylor. He's been taking care of a lot of that since he's the man, right?
He's unreal. It must be good working with someone like Taylor as well, who's really switched on to all that side of things as well. And Bandcamp, I love Bandcamp. I do go on a lot about it, and I know people listen to Spotify, and it's great to get all those streams and listens up. But for people like me that like to go and buy shit, you know what I mean? Bandcamp's a good platform to go over and buy albums. Even if you're just buying a digital copy for your phone, it's a much better sound quality. You can listen to it anytime you like, and you're supporting the band and artist. So people, go fucking do it. Path of a Thousand Suns is a ripping album.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, go to the Bandcamp page and get your pre-orders, and hopefully, if not, the album will be out September 30th, and I think everyone's gonna dig it, man. I mean, I hope so. We're looking forward to the full reaction when it finally comes out. We're excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, if I can go and buy a copy so we can get you guys on the road playing some shows with Umbilicus.
That's right. That'd be awesome, man. It'll be great to tour the world. You know, you never know. We'll see what happens. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Exactly. Speaking of touring of the world, I've got to quickly ask, because I've been asked a few times to ask this one. Cannibal Corpse Australia, any chance tour coming up at all? I know he's a flat out everywhere, bro, and I know I didn't want to ask, man, but you're just flat out at the moment, dude.
Sure. No, of course, man. No, you know, there's no talk right now. I don't know why there hasn't been. I mean, it's been a few years, of course, since we've been there, and you know, we got a great promoter that brings us all the time. So I don't know what's going on here. You know, I mean, obviously we got some stuff. You know, we plan well in advance. I would have to hope it would happen within the next couple of years. I mean, there really, to me, seems like there should be no reason why it shouldn't happen.
Maybe
so
mix it up, get Umbilicus and Cannibal Corpse and get Inhuman Condition. We'll just do a big road trip, get all you boys together with your 20 million bands and put on a festival down there.
Yeah, we should. We should just bring them out, bring everybody together, and let's just do this big thing, you know. But right, well, so hopefully it's sooner than later. I mean, it's been a long time, obviously, since we've been there, so we need to be coming back. I really don't know why we haven't been back sooner. And like I said, to me, there's really no reason why we shouldn't be coming in the near future. Unfortunately, there's nothing to be talked about or nothing that I can say at all, because there's no.
It made it hard with COVID as well. You know what I mean? Pushing plans back and tours back, and then fucking reorganize it. Now everyone wants to come someplace, so you got to plan out when you're playing at people. So be bloody patient. That's all we have to say, Paul.
Right. Well, that's all I can say is eventually we'll be there. Just got to be patient. Hopefully that time will be sooner than later at this point. Right.
That's it. Till then, go grab Umbilicus. Path of 1,000 Suns comes out September 30th through Listenable Insanity Records. Paul, this has been an absolute pleasure, my friend. Really enjoyed doing this. Do you have any last words, shout outs, or thank yous you'd like to add in there, mate?
And I just appreciate it. Really fun talking to you, and I appreciate you taking the time. And you know, no, just really thanks for all the support for everybody, for the band, for Cannibal, you know, for Umbilicus, and you know, just keep it rolling. And you know, hopefully we'll be out there soon. Hopefully we'll make it to Australia one day here. You know, Cannibal and Umbilicus. That'd be great. So.
Hell yeah, brother. Thank you very much. Cheers, mate.
All right, man. Take care, man.
Cheers,
right,
you do.
Bye.
Done.
All right, take care, bro.
Bye-bye.
That's the end.